Good morning, everybody. Can you hear us? Morning.
We're here.
We're here. Can everybody hear us?
That's right. If anyone can hear us, say something. Yes, we can hear you. Good.
Great. Super. Good. Well, good morning, everybody. I am going to, before we get too far, I'm going to go right into sharing our screen so you can see our presentation instead of us.
Yeah.
Because we misfired a little bit on this the other day and it lost us about 5 minutes. So let's make sure we can do this and see if this is working. I see something happening. Yay. Okay.
Look at that.
It worked.
Andy, come on. One day.
One day.
One day.
What a difference a day makes.
Yeah. So this is great. All right. So Andy, are we right up on 10 o'clock now?
We are right up on 10 o'clock.
1 o'clock if you're in New York.
1 o'clock.
Somewhere in between if you're in Mountain Time.
Or Central Time. Central. And as early as 7 o'clock if you're in Hawaii. I think 7 o'clock. Welcome, everybody. Super happy to be doing this again. We had a great time on Thursday for the people who were there. And we've got just about as many people today as we did on Thursday, which is terrific.
Which is shocking because we've on any of the launches we've done, we've never had this many people on Saturday. I wonder if it's because the Jews and the Gentiles got together on their holiday.
I don't think that's it.
Home.
I don't think that's it. Maybe.
But by the way, just a little aside, isn't it great when the Jews and the Catholics get together on holidays because you can drive around LA no problem this weekend?
That's true. That is true.
It's the best weekend in the history of LA.
That is true.
Otherwise, next year they're going to screw that up, and the Jewish holiday is going to be a week early. And
now, it's always different because it's operating on different calendars. Yeah. Anyway, we digress. We are here to talk about vitamin D and vitamin K because we have a new product that happens to feature both of those. Yeah. So we're going to try to be efficient with their time here. One thing I want to mention is that if we see the chat window as we're going along. If you have any questions, we try to catch as many of the questions as we can and answer them as they come in. Sometimes they scroll by too quickly, and so we miss some. So if we don't answer your question, we're not ignoring you. It means we just didn't see it. However, the presentation is pretty complete, pretty thorough. There's a very good chance that whatever your question is, it will get answered over the course of the webinar anyway. And if it doesn't, we do have a question and answer period at the end where I'm not focusing on the PowerPoint presentation and we'll be able to answer everybody's questions. So, by all means, ask the questions as we go along. And if we miss it, we'll get to it later.
And I want to add before, Andy, you might as well switch to the next thing. I want to add that do not buy the product until the end.
No, because...
Tell them, Ange.
There is a special offer for webinar attendees only. At the end of this webinar, we're going to give you a discount code that is worth 30% on your first order of the vitamin D plus K. So I know you're all dying to buy the vitamin D.
Can we make that? We can't make it available right now until the end. We can't click and make it available, right?
No, it'll be available at the end of the webinar. Okay. So unfortunately, you have to sit and listen to us go on about vitamin D and vitamin K.
And you'll be happy to because I see Stormy Daniels is back in again today.
Yeah, Stormy Daniels.
Yeah, who used to be Eternal Damnation. Damnation, not
Stormy, they're already shipping. So anybody whose orders came in Thursday night or up to Friday at about probably 10 a.m. because they were swamped on Friday morning filling orders from Thursday. Got their orders shipped yesterday. We don't ship on weekends, so anything that comes in over the weekend will get shipped on Monday. The product is in the warehouse and it's also in our hands. Can you see? Yeah, there it is. We have a number of bottles here at our offices as well. That we'll be sending to Amazon. We will be launching on Amazon in 2 weeks, but right now until April 12th, it's available only on our site.
And also to answer Brett's question, yes, we will make this PowerPoint available afterwards.
Yes, this will be issued as a PDF and downloadable from the purevitaminclub.com site. All right, let's get going. So what is vitamin D? We're going to go right into it. Vitamin D is actually a group of compounds. Just like there are, B1, B2, B6, B12, all of that. There are a number of vitamin Ds, but we don't take more than the one. It comes in two major forms, D2 and D3. It's a fat-soluble vitamin, and it's one of the so-called essential vitamins, which means that you need it to live. Your body literally cannot function without it. It is present in very few foods, naturally. It is in some, but we don't get enough of it from foods. So some foods add it. You'll see vitamin D fortified milk, vitamin D fortified orange juice, and processed foods like breakfast cereals will add it. But what does it actually do? The thing that it's most known for, vitamin D, is how it affects our bones. And the reason it affects our bones is that it promotes calcium absorption in your gut. And calcium, as we know, is the building block of bones. Say that 3 times.
Yeah.
So if you don't have enough vitamin D, you are not absorbing enough calcium from your gut to be used in maintaining your bone health. It does that also by maintaining a serum calcium and phosphate concentration. It enables mineralization of bone, and you need it for bone growth and bone remodeling. Remodeling meaning, when you break a bone and it has to reknit itself. You're not going to be able to do that without vitamin D adequately.
And also, while Andy is switching to the next screen, I'll mention that of all the essential vitamins, there are 13 essential vitamins, vitamin D is the only one with a question mark next to it, because you don't actually have to take it. You're supposed to be able to get it from the sun,
which we will get to.
It synthesizes through your skin, yet we don't get enough anymore, and we will be getting to that.
We get to that.
Yeah, I know we do, but I just, whenever I
Why
hear...
did this switch up back over there?
I have no idea. My computer is doing what my computer is doing.
Does everybody else, what do you see on your screen? Do you see the home page, or do you see the what else does vitamin D do page?
Main screen of PowerPoint.
First slide. Why is that?
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
We're off and running. Title page. So they're not seeing what we're seeing.
I know. And I don't know why that is, because we're still sharing.
Huh. Here we go.
Here we go again, and we have no idea. I didn't do any. I'm going to stop sharing for a second and start sharing again. So let's try this again. Hold on. We're going to stop sharing.
Share and reload.
We're going to reload. Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Alexandra. Is that how that's
share screen? We're going to go to application window, PVC. Here we go.
All right, let's see if that works.
There we go.
All right.
We're back.
Andy, before we go on, try to switch to the next page just for a second, see if it goes. So we're not doing this again. Huh.
Oh, good Lord. Okay. Well, we will.
We'll just have to go back and do it.
We'll do it every time if we have to.
Yeah. All right. So go.
All right. So what else does vitamin D do? Although bone health is what most people associate with vitamin D, it does quite a lot. It modulates cell growth. It maintains a healthy neuromuscular function. It maintains your immune function. It reduces inflammation, and that's a very important thing, because inflammation causes all kinds of problems in your body. It stabilizes your blood sugar level. And when I say stable, it helps to stabilize. It doesn't do it all alone.
Yeah, it's not a catch-all. You can't go, hey, I just ate a bunch of crappy food, and I'm going to go take some vitamin D. Doesn't work that way. Same
thing with reduces inflammation. You can't go and give yourself a big knock on the knee, and this is going to reduce it helps to do all these things.
Right.
It works with certain genes that encode proteins to regulate your cell proliferation. That's kind of technical for how it helps your cell growth and cell health. And it's just part of overall maintenance of health. Now, this is probably not going to do it. This is going to be a little clunky, but who knows why this is doing it. We're going to reshare with each new page.
Yeah.
So I got to go back here. And I gotta.
Maybe it'll start working at some point. Who knows?
Who knows? We'll go back to the application window.
Buzz.
Here we go. Now this should be coming back up. Yep, this is how the sausage is made. You're right, Lee. So there are two main types of vitamin D, and this is an important point. There's vitamin D2, known as ergocalciferol, ergo, and vitamin D3, cholecalciferol. Now, the point is that they're not created equal. I got really cute with the way I wrote this, spoiler alert, but let's just cut to the chase. They're not the same.
And that wasn't that cute.
It wasn't. Try.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to have to do this each time, guys. This is so ridiculous, but
why did your 45-minute webinar take 4 hours?
That's why.
Yeah, we had to go back and forth.
Yeah, back and forth.
Yeah.
All right, so which is the right D for me, for you, for all of us? They'll come back up in a second. The big difference between D2 and D3 is how they're made. D3 is the form that occurs naturally in your body, and we're going to tell you how that occurs later. But in supplementation, it's mostly derived from lanolin. And lanolin, as you know, is the oil that's found in sheep's wool. If you've ever been on a farm or touched a live sheep, when you touch their wool, it feels a little oily. That's from the lanolin, and that in the same way that we produce vitamin D naturally in our bodies, sheep do as well, and it comes out in that lanolin. So that lanolin is harvested, and that's where they manufacture vitamin D3 from that. On the other hand, D2 is a relatively more modern invention in terms of how it's processed and put into a supplement. It was a process developed in the 1920s. Because vitamin D in general is manufactured by the body as a response to sunlight, so it takes ultraviolet light to create vitamin D. 20s figured out a way that artificially by exposing fungus and yeast to ultraviolet light and turn that into a form of vitamin D called vitamin D2. They patented it, and then they marketed it as a vitamin D supplement to help with people who had vitamin D deficiencies to pharmaceutical companies. And that took hold with the medical community because it was a cheap and easy way to derive a vitamin D.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to pointlessly try to do this the easy way, but it's not going to do it.
Yeah, so. Just keep talking while you're doing it.
Yeah, I am talking while I do it. So,
yeah, well, you can't even see what you're about to
well, that's just it.
Too.
That's just it. So that's all right. It's going to be about a 5-second delay for each one of these. So why do we use D3 instead of D2? The screen will catch up. Well, you know, historically, vitamin D2 has been used by doctors to treat vitamin D deficiency, and that's really because of what we just talked about. Because the patent holder of D2 started marketing it because there was a profit motive. It was a way to make money. The problem is that while D3 is the type that's produced by your own body, D2 by definition is always synthetic. But beyond that, whether you care about synthetic versus natural or not, D3 is 87% more potent in raising vitamin D concentrations in your blood. D3 is stored in the body 2 to 3 times more effectively than D2. And that's something we neglected to mention about the fat-soluble vitamins, which include D, A, E, and K. When
Andy, look up for a second. We'll do this, and we're going to do. All right.
Okay.
And we're going to put that on.
All right.
I'm doing social media.
All right. Okay. The fat-soluble vitamins are stored in your body, primarily in the liver, whereas the water-soluble vitamins like C and the B family are not. So you need those constantly because they're not stored at all. D3 is
One
stored.
more time, man.
I'm trying to do a webinar here. So D3 is converted to the active form in your body 500% faster than D2 because it's already closer to what your body makes. D2 as a supplement has a shorter shelf life, and it binds poorly with proteins, so it's not going to be as effective because of that as well. And because D3 is absorbed better, you need less of it to be effective. If you're only absorbing, say, 50% of something versus 80% of something else, You need less of the something that you're getting 80% of than what you're getting 50% of. So in short, even though to this day, a lot of doctors, if they're prescribing vitamin D for a deficiency and they're prescribing, more than a supplement grade, they're providing a medicinal grade quantities, they're doing D2. And the reason for that, they just haven't caught up, and they're still going on the model because it's been done for decades, and it was done for decades because there was a profit motive from the people who created that. Moving on, let's go to the next one. Where do we get vitamin D? While I'm changing this, we'll talk about that. As I said earlier, not a lot of foods have vitamin D, or not a lot of vitamin D naturally. And because, nature has a way of balancing everything out, it does that because where we're supposed to get most of our vitamin D is from the sun. Our skin synthesizes.
Anyway, this is a very important question right here. So does our vitamin D supplement carry DT over? No, most of them carry D3.
Most of them carry D3 now. Up to about probably 15 years or so ago, you would have seen more D2 than D3. You'll still see some D2, but more people are, in the supplement community at least, have caught on that D3 is better. So, there is D3 in some foods. You'll find it in fatty fish like tuna and salmon. You'll find it in egg yolks, in cheese, in beef liver and other organ meats, and in mushrooms. But the primary source, again, is not from your food. It's from the sun. And while that's all well and good, the problem is, as we'll see in the next, I didn't go to the next screen. That's a problem. I got to go to the next screen before I do that. The problem is that none of us get enough sun. Very few of us get enough sun to get sufficient amounts of vitamin D. And there are a lot of reasons that has happened over the decades. We've all been told that we need to watch our sun exposure because it will create premature aging, and that's not incorrect, but it has its downside as well. If you live in a darker climate, a colder climate where you're not getting as many sunny days, if you use a lot of sunscreen when you do go out in the sun, maybe you're fair skinned, you have light hair and freckles, and you burn easily, you're going to slather on sunscreen, and there's a good reason why you might do that, to protect yourself from sunburn, but you're also blocking out most of the vitamin D. There are people who live in a sunny climate but just don't spend a lot of time outdoors. And the other thing is that people with darker complexions, African Americans, South Asians, certain Latin Americans, whoever has darker complexion, darker skin does not absorb sunlight as well. So you're not getting enough vitamin D that way. And that, again, that's nature making compensations. People who live, people who are genetically darker skinned, their ancestry is in sunnier climates. And so they were spending more time in the sun, so they adapted to have darker skin so that they wouldn't absorb too much.
Andy, to that point, I'm the lightest colored Italian in my family. Everyone else is much more olive skinned than I am. And I'm dark enough to where I don't get enough because even though I go out on, I mentioned this in the other webinar, I go out on my mountain runs, I take my shirt off to try to get as much sun as I can. I'm kayaking a lot lately. I'm out in the ocean, sun. And whenever I get my vitamin D checked, I'm always on the low side of normal. You would think that a guy like me who's an outdoorsman, camping and what have you, would get a lot more.
And you know what? It's a very personal thing. Everybody absorbs different vitamins differently, which is why it's good for people to have the options. Not everybody needs every supplement, but it's good that there are options because everybody needs something extra because we just are, all of our bodies are a little different.
And Courtney, you are right. If you're in Washington State, you might as well just gobble this down by the bottlefuls because I spend time, I love Washington.
I love Washington. We're going to be in Seattle.
But guess what? Not a whole lot of sunshine.
No, I'll tell you, when I lived in London for 2.5 years, and there were times when I would go 3 weeks without seeing the sun. So, all right. What is a vitamin D deficiency and what does it mean if you do have vitamin D deficiency? There's a nice little infographic here. And again, this will be in the PDF that you can download. The biggest thing that people associate with vitamin D deficiency has to do with your bones. Osteoporosis is a big risk. Rickets, which for decades was kind of, considered kind of a, outdated disease. People weren't getting it as much, but people are getting it more again. We're seeing an uptick in rickets in children because they're not going outside enough. They're not playing outside. They're all sitting there hunched over their cell phones texting. So we have more kids with rickets than we used to. Type 1 diabetes is you're more at risk for if you have a vitamin D deficiency. Muscle aches, muscle weakness, high blood pressure, and coronary heart disease. That has to do with the fact that you're not utilizing your calcium properly, so you're more likely to experience calcification of the arteries. It'll affect your mood, depression, and in rare cases, even schizophrenia. And it does increase your risk. It doesn't mean that you will get, but it means that it increases statistically your risk of certain diseases like Crohn's disease, MS, rheumatoid arthritis, and even cancer. So a vitamin D deficiency can be serious.
Is it just me, or is it every time you hear the term rickets, you think of Don Rickles?
It's just you.
Oh, come on. Anyone
well, I don't
else?
know if it's just
Let me
you.
know. Come on, folks. If you don't think of, if you're my age and you don't think of Don Rickles whenever you hear rickets, let's see who says what.
All right. Well, now we're going to hear. Now we're going to hear crickets.
Yeah.
All right. I know that was weak.
You're doing Catskill stuff.
I'm doing
now?
Catskills. I'm doing the Catskills. You can take the Jew out of the Catskills. You can't take the Catskills out of the Jew. All right. The vitamin D, vitamin K connection. This is really key. I'm going to try to stop moving around. My chair is squeaking. The thing with vitamin supplementation is that while it is a complex science, and while each one of the 13 essentials has various functions and purposes, as important as that is how they interact with each other. They all have synergistic effects with each other. D and K particularly have a very close relationship, and that's something that's only really been understood well over the past few decades, how they work together. And that's why you're seeing more and more vitamin D supplements, including vitamin K. And the main reason for that is, as we talked about, vitamin D, and when we talk about vitamin D, we're really talking about D3. Because the main way that it affects your bone health is in terms of how it helps you absorb calcium through the gut. The issue is that too much of a good thing can be sometimes a bad thing, and if you're absorbing more calcium because you're taking your vitamin D, your body needs to figure out what to do with that and make sure that it's using it correctly. You can develop an excessive calcium uptake, and that can have issues. It can interfere with your cardiac function, with your renal function, your kidneys. It can contribute to calcification of the arteries and other soft tissues. That condition is called metastatic calcium. It's where calcium is depositing in places it shouldn't. Vitamin K, in particular K2, activates certain proteins that help to the D3, the vitamin D, use that calcium properly and not accumulate it where it's not supposed to. So if you're going to take a vitamin D, it's really, really advisable to take it with a K, primarily the K2, although we're going to talk about why K1 is important as well. But that's why you see the very important connection between vitamin D and vitamin K.
And Alexandra, let me answer your question. We get asked this, and I'm glad you brought it up because we forget to mention it in every seminar we do. If you are taking our multivitamin or any multivitamin, if you have a D deficiency, it is not enough. So the question will come, why don't you put more in there? Well, because you can't. A multivitamin is just that. It's meant to give you an overview of all the vitamins you need. But if we just overloaded it with K, we wouldn't be able to put in all the B vitamins and everything else. So, we like to look at a multivitamin as something that works synergistically with a good diet, where you're getting micronutrients from food that you need, all of the phytonutrients that you need from regular food. It just boosts that. But you said you live in Seattle. Trust me, I don't know what color skin you have, but even if you are opaque, you probably will not get enough vitamin D in Seattle.
I hope she's opaque. Otherwise, we're going to see her bones, and that's that's not a great look on anybody. So just to sort of talk a little further on what Vinny was saying, the purpose of a multi is to cover all the gaps that you might have in your diet, and that might vary even from week to week. One week you don't get enough vitamin D, the next week you don't get enough vitamin B12, but you're not really necessarily deficient in any or all of those. So the multivitamin, whether it's ours or somebody else's, is meant to just kind of cover the bases, make sure that on a daily basis you've got enough of what you need as a baseline. Individual supplements, whether it's the D or a B12 or a magnesium or a vitamin C, has to do with when your body really needs an extra boost of that certain thing. So while our multi-cap certainly has vitamin D in it and vitamin K, the amounts in there are not designed for people who have a real significant deficiency. For that, you take something else. If you don't have a vitamin D deficiency, then the amount in there is going to cover you fine. It's going to give you that extra little bit where if one week you don't get enough, maybe it's a rainy week and you don't get any sun that week, whatever it is, that's what the multi-cap is meant for.
And by the way, CJ is mimicking what I'm saying. He's a WAP also. I know who he is. I've done some consults with him. And he's saying that, yeah, he's shocked that when he went in for his D, he gets a lot of sun. He lives south of us. I think he's in San Diego.
Yeah, 29 is low. You should be at 50.
Yeah. So, Italians just don't seem to get, I think he's as dark as I am, maybe a little darker. But, and look, if you go to African American or anything like that, you're going to even be that much more susceptible to this. So, yeah. And by the way, it turns out Alexandra is a dude and is a pasty Jew. Pasty Jew.
So you're like me.
Yeah, you're like Andy.
I'm less pasty when we get to summer, but right now I'm a little on the pasty side. Okay, so what is vitamin K? Like vitamin D, which we were saying earlier, and vitamin B, vitamin K is not just one vitamin. There's actually a whole slew of vitamin Ks in that, they're all slightly different molecularly, but they're part of the same family. For our purposes and the purposes of diet and for humans, there are two. There's vitamin K1. It's known alternately as phytonadione or phylloquinone for people who like knowing the technical names.
How impressed are you guys that Andy, when I was doing a video on this, how many takes did we take for me to get those words out?
It's 8.
8. You're being kind.
Yeah. Anyway, then there's K2, which is menaquinone. But even further than that, K2 divides up into a whole range of individual forms of that, the most two important of which are MK4, and MK is short for menaquinone. How they got the K when it's Q in the full word, I don't know. Not responsible. We take no blame for that. MK4 and MK7. So what does all that mean? The thing is that each different form of vitamin K does slightly different things, is derived from slightly different places, and has a slightly different role in the vitamin K function overall. So just like you wouldn't want to take just vitamin B6 and not vitamin B12, if you want to get your vitamin K and get all the benefits of vitamin K, you want the whole family. You want K1 and you want both forms of K2, or you're just not getting the full benefit. Let's go to the next and come back to the sharing.
You're doing quite well with this now.
Once you kind of get the rhythm, it's a little bit, as long as we talk through it, they get to see our shining faces.
A different system next time. This thing keeps screwing up.
I know.
There are other systems, right?
Probably.
Yeah.
All right. So what else does vitamin K do? We talked about how it works with the vitamin D to help you regulate your calcium uptake. But it does other things. The thing that it's actually most used for and most known for is its effects on blood clotting and coagulation. So if you are deficient in vitamin K, you will see easy bruising, defective clotting. If you cut yourself, you're not going to stop bleeding as quickly. You might see gastrointestinal bleeding. If you're a woman, you might see excessive menstrual bleeding. If you're a man and you see that, then you've got a real issue.
Yeah.
You could see even blood in the urine. Gross deficiency of vitamin K is not that common in adults, but it is very common in children and extremely common. It's so common in newborns that they are now routinely given a vitamin K shot before they're even sent home from the hospital after they're born. So it's an extremely important vitamin. But there is a caution with this that we have to mention because of its effect in coagulation. If you are on any kind of a blood thinner, an anticoagulant, Coumadin, warfarin, any of those drugs, it's not to say that you can't take vitamin K, but you absolutely need to consult a physician before you do. Your physician, who knows your history, knows your level of, how many blood thinners you're taking, what your blood levels are. It's an extremely important thing. It can cause problems and interfere with what your anticoagulant medication is doing. So that's the only caution we have about anything in this formula is if you do take an anticoagulant drug, you need to consult with a physician before taking anything with a vitamin K.
Oh, by the way, Eric, while we're switching to the next screen, yeah, it wasn't meant a subliminal advertisement, but I'm seeing it now because you brought it up. Andy, look at my cap.
Yeah. Oh,
I always just grab the nice cap that's not sweaty.
That's funny. I didn't, I saw that this morning and I didn't even think, all I thought was, oh, I really like that Dodger cap because I got the different one that just says LA.
LA, right. And this is like the one they were putting out last year. And I have a stack of caps, and as I sweat them up, by hiking and running and kayaking.
That's really funny.
I just grab the nice cap.
I know. Yeah, I never know what cap you're going to wear.
And I haven't seen myself on the screen. So, oh, great.
That's funny.
There we go. It's great subliminal advertising.
Subliminal even to you.
Yeah.
Okay, so where do we get vitamin K? The thing about vitamin K in the diet is most of what we get in our diets comes from K1. We get very little K2 in our diets, and that's the reason that supplement companies, one of the reasons that you'll see K2 in supplements rather than K1, because we're already getting almost all of the K that we're getting in our diets comes from K1. That's found in mostly the leafy green vegetables. So you're finding it, all the usual suspects for leafy greens: broccoli, kale, spinach, Brussels sprouts, cabbage. All that family is going to give you K1. K2 is found only in fermented foods and animal products. So when I say fermented foods,
drink up.
Not so much that.
Oh,
no. So like there's something called natto, and Vinny will rail against that because it's a fermented soybean product in Asian foods.
Don't have anything soybean ever, please,
right.
And thank you. If you want to live a long time.
Sauerkraut has K2 because it's fermented. Cheese is fermented, so there's some K2 in cheese. It's in caviar. If you love caviar, load up on that stuff and you'll get some K2. But it's not very prevalent in food. And the K1, even though we're supposed to be getting more of that from our food, as we've talked about in other webinars, our food supply is very weakened by degraded soil, by degraded air, by degraded water.
Well, that's why we started Pure Vitamin Club to begin with, is that no one is getting what they need from food. We rape the land when it comes to vegetation, and we're just not getting what we need from food. We have factory farming with fish and, with meat and everything else. And we're not getting the quality we need. And not everyone goes out and hunts and fishes for fresh food, So, and no one, other than my family in Louisiana who still grows gardens, most people just don't have the time and the space to do that kind of thing.
Right. So even though we're supposed to be getting a lot of K1, we're probably not getting enough of that either. So why do we want to take K1 and K2? I mean, we talked about that a little bit, but even though K2 is what's talked about in the supplements, since we're not getting enough K1 from our food, we do want that. And again, they do slightly different things. we're sort of repeating ourselves here a little bit, but they also they attack the whole thing in slightly different ways. Just as even further, the MK4 and MK7 work with the body in slightly different ways. So if you want to get the benefit of K, you really do need all of it, the whole formula. The other question that is going to come up a lot and is going to be one of the more, I don't want to say controversial, but it's the one where people are going to say, but I was told this. It has to do with how much vitamin D. And there's a lot of misinformation out there, and people, and again, every time I see something like this where people are being told to take more of something than they need, it's always an economic thing. They want you to spend more money. So with vitamin D, how much? The U.S. Institute of Medicine says they're on the low end of a suggestion of what you need. They say 400 to 800 IU, that's the measurement that's used for vitamin D, international units, is enough for most people. But other studies, like the National Institutes of Health, more recent kind of science says that we really need somewhere between 1,000 and 4,000 IU for most people to have enough vitamin D in our bodies to do everything that D does. The amount that's considered adequate, it's measured in something called, I don't want to update my software. I hate when those things pop up. The amount that we're supposed to have to be considered adequate is, they measure this in something called nanomoles per liter, and you're supposed to have 50, a minimum of 50, to be considered adequate. And deficiency, true deficiency is like under 30. But there's also, as with many things, there's also an upper limit that you don't want to really go beyond. Now, according to the National Institutes of Health, which is sort of the authority on all things in terms of dosing of all the supplements, they use the term the tolerable upper intake level. They call it the UL for short. And that's the number that you don't really want to go beyond, because that's when you start to get into some risks associated with having more than that. And they say the tolerable upper intake level is 4,000 IU. So, even if you are living in Seattle in December and you haven't seen the sun for a month, you're still going to get a little bit from going outside. You're also going to get a little bit from your food, even if you're not eating well. So, minimally, you're going to get a few hundred IU of vitamin D just naturally. So while a lot of D supplements, and you'll hear a lot of people say, oh, you need 5, if you're going to take vitamin D, you need 5,000 IU.
Oh, people throw numbers out. I've heard 10 and 15,000
oh, yeah.
because my doctor told me.
Oh, my sister was told, and she was given a prescription by her doctor for 50,000 IU, and it was a fortune. Crazy. It's crazy, and it was a fortune. She showed me what the bill was. It was a crazy amount of money, and then she was supposed to take that for a while and then go down to 10,000 and then to 5,000. It's crazy, unless you have and we're not going to. If you have a doctor that's telling you that, we're not here to argue with your doctors. We're not going to get
any doctor. Go with your doctor recommendation, or as I tell people, find another doctor. Get 2 or 3. Doctors are not God, folks.
That's right.
Get 2 or 3 opinions.
But we're not here to argue with your doctor. What I am here to argue with is the bro science, or the people who, your friend that says, I heard you need 5,000. I heard that you need 10,000. Fact of the matter is that we don't recommend taking more than the 4,000 unless you are being specifically told to by a physician.
While Andy's switching over, it was a great question. I think it was Eric. I can't remember the name, but was asking about taking probiotics and if it's better for absorption, gut absorption of nutrients. The answer to that is yes. Do you have to take a probiotic? You can. I don't have one to recommend to you, but you could get great. Yeah, at some point we may try to develop one at Pure Vitamin Club, but we won't do it unless we can do something that's really like everything else we do, like the hot rod of it. So it's not even on our radar yet, but people keep begging us to do that. In the meantime, the best way is things like Andy mentioned earlier, sauerkraut, great way. Kimchi, if you could find some that's
which
not
is
all sugared up.
it's basically Korean sauerkraut.
Yeah, it is.
Spicy.
Yogurt, live active cultured yogurt, kefir or kefir. How do people pronounce it? I say kefir.
Most people say kefir. I think technically it's called kefir.
Yeah, kefir.
But either way, I don't care how you pronounce it. Just take it.
Yeah, if you could find high fat kefir, a kefir, or whatever you want to call it, anything like that that's a live active culture or a sauerkraut or anything that's fermented like that, you're going to be good with.
Yeah.
And we're going to have to get with our scientists and start talking, because people ask me that question more than anything else.
Yeah.
But we're not going to put a BS product in the market.
No.
But yes, it does help gut absorption.
All right.
Go on, Ed.
Let's go on now. I just want to keep this under an hour. So what's the best way to take D3 and K? As I mentioned, they're both fat-soluble vitamins. So the best way to absorb them is in an oil-based delivery system. So if you're seeing a vitamin D supplement and it's in a powdered capsule, throw it away. If you see it and it's in a solid tablet, throw it away. You're not going to absorb it as well as you should unless it's in an oil solution, in what they call the soft gels, which are these guys, these squishy little amber-colored, oil-filled capsules. And these, by the way, are our vitamin D3.
Yeah, they don't all start off in a bottle like this.
No.
A lot of times when we're testing them, they send it to us like we're going to go sell them for street value, on the mean streets of Beverly Hills.
Next time I go to the factory, I should do what we've done with and take video of the process, because it would be really, really cool for people to see.
I'm always happy when we end up getting it in the bottles, because I feel like I'm taking some kind of weird drug, because it's always in some Ziploc version.
Oh, I know. It looks like what's the street value of this?
Yeah, right now I've been our new coffee that's coming out, the double French. They keep sending it to me in
big bags.
Yeah, and it tastes like the plastic right now. It's like I can't wait for it to be in a real bag.
Yeah. So, since they go into those oil-filled soft gels, the question is, what oil do you use in those soft gels? And most companies put the cheapest oil they possibly can in those. They'll put in safflower oil. You might see olive oil, and you might even see extra virgin olive oil. So the issue is, we'll get to that.
They do rapeseed oil too.
They do rapeseed oil. The answer is all of those are inferior products, but they do it because it's cheaper. That's the reason that they put those cheaper products in there. But you say, as I switch to the next screen, you said olive oil and extra virgin olive oil. I thought those were great. And the answer is olive oil is great, but not all olive oil is created equal. And you'll say, but what if it says extra virgin olive oil? Well, not all extra virgin olive oil is created equal. The fact of the matter is, the olive oil industry is more filled with fraud than almost any other food industry. It's the amount of products that are sold as extra virgin that are really extra virgin olive oil is a fairly small percentage. It's about 30%. And the chance that if you see that on your supplement that it says extra virgin olive oil, that it is, are almost zero. The reason is, you can get away in the United States with calling olive oil extra virgin if it contains something like 30% extra virgin olive oil, which has to do with how it's extracted and the level of purities. There are several factors that go into that are supposed to be tested for flavor, for consistency, and for how it's pressed and all of that. It needs to be only about 30%. The rest can be junk oil, and they can still label it as extra virgin olive oil. It's one of these kind of shockingly fraudulent industries. The chance that any other supplement you see has actual extra virgin olive oil in it is almost zero, because what you won't see on those products, even if it says extra virgin, they'll never say where the olive oil comes from. They'll never have a brand on it. It'll just say extra virgin. Most of it won't even say that. It'll say olive oil or safflower oil or rapeseed oil, some sort of inferior oil. And we don't have time to go into that, but anybody who's followed Vinny knows.
Well, yeah, Alexander just said that. This 3-liter tin just showed up from Villa Capelli, and it's every bit as good as I said it was. And also, look, even the Central American drug cartels raise an eyebrow to the olive oil industry. Yeah. They even go, how did they get away with this? How did they do it?
Yeah. So that brings us to our new product, our vitamin D3 plus K complex. You know, we played around with giving it kind of a fancy name, trying to figure out something cute. We said, well, what is it? It's vitamin D3 plus a K complex. That's what we're calling it.
Yeah.
So, you know, as with all of our products, our aim, anytime we put something out, is to give you the best possible ingredients. We don't want to ever go with the cheaper form of anything or the less effective form of anything. We want to make sure that our formula is balanced, that we're giving you the optimal amount, not the maximum, but the optimal, so that we're giving you what you need, but not more than you need, so that you're just peeing it away or actually causing yourself harm. And we want to do it with no added fillers, binders, flow agents, sweeteners, colorants, anything that's not necessary. That's what we've done in the past, and we were committed to doing that for this one as well. I'm going to skip the next slide, actually, because we're just going to talk about the vitamin B12, which is another sample of what we've done. But let's skip by that. We can talk about that another time. We're going to go to our vitamin D3 plus K, and we're going to, there it is. There's the bottle, which you've seen already in the flesh there. Ta-da. It took us over a year in research and development, just like when we first started to put out our first supplement. We had a hard time finding manufacturing partners that would even do what we wanted to do. The primary problem was, you know, bringing in our own oil. That was a whole process in itself. But after that year of development and research, we got it together. We got the product that we wanted, and that's what we're putting out now.
And I just want to add this. Andy and I always know when we're onto something. When manufacturers, people who want our business, start yelling at us and telling us there's no way to do this. Nobody's going to ever do this. So whenever we get yelled at, we start laughing, because we know that we're onto something that they don't want to deal with.
Yeah, and just so you understand, I mean, it's no secret. When Vinny and I started this company, we didn't go out and invest $20 million in our own factory with our own equipment and all of that. We use what's called contract manufacturers, which means that there are formulas, our specifications, we supervise it, we hold the patents, we hold everything having to do with it, and we control it. We own the formulas, and we have companies who have the manufacturing equipment and all of that do it for us to our specifications. They don't share our products with any other companies. They're exclusively ours, but we have companies, our manufacturing partners, we call them.
Andy, let's answer this question right now. I currently have a PVC combo subscription. Is it possible to add the vitamin D, but have the vitamin D shipped ASAP while the combo pack ships as regularly scheduled?
Yes, here's what we can do on that, and I'll get to this more when we get to the end. But the vitamin D is available both as a single purchase and as on subscription. So for those people who have a subscription that maybe isn't set to renew for another 2 months, what I'm suggesting to people is go ahead and add it to your subscription so that it comes with next time, and then as a separate transaction, order a one-time, the single purchase, non-recurring, which will come now, and I'll explain how to do that. And you know, it's not ideal for everybody. If your subscription comes in 45 days and you don't want to have the whole thing come now, but you want to have the D come there, it means you're gonna but you want the D now.
Get it anyway, because you have family members that can use it too.
So you have a little extra supply. Back to the presentation. No surprise where we were going with that. I actually flew to Italy just a little over a year ago, January of last year.
Had a sit down. I
had a sit down. I toured the facility. I toured the pressing facilities. I toured the orchard at Villa Capelli, and sat down with Paul and Stephen to work out a deal. We are the exclusive company, a supplement company, to use Villa Capelli in our products. Nobody else will be allowed to do that. We're so proud of that association. Anybody who has tried their olive oil knows how delicious it is, number one. Unfortunately, you don't get to taste it in the vitamin D. But more than just how delicious it is the highest quality, which means it has the most health benefits. It is the purest, and it was the only thing that we would allow in our oil-based formulas. And we have other oil-based formulations coming over the next 18 months, and they're all going to use Villa Capelli. We wanted nothing but the very, very best in there, and there is not another product on the market that has guaranteed 100% extra virgin olive oil of the highest caliber from Puglia, the state in southern Italy, where the best olive oil comes from. Very, very proud of that. Do
people today know what a sit-down is? Or
I don't know.
That's an Italian term, right?
I don't know if it's an Italian term. It's an old term.
It's an old term. It was basically the Italians.
Just means a meeting, an in-person meeting. You sit around a table. So here's I want to sort of run through the list of what makes our product special and different. Number one, of course, it's only vitamin D3. We would never use vitamin D2 for all the reasons we talked about. We're giving you the optimum dosage. We're not promising you 5,000 IU. We think most people don't need that. The dosage is 2,000 IU. For those people who want more, we say take 2, and that'll bring you up to 4,000. And that's where we really, again, unless you have a physician that's telling you you need this, we would still raise an eyebrow. But your doctor's your doctor. We don't want you taking more than 4,000 IU without that specific recommendation. We're the only one that I know of to give you the full vitamin K complex. Vitamin K1, you're getting 200 micrograms, and vitamin K2, you're getting 180 micrograms. You're getting both forms of K2. You're getting the MK4 and the MK7. For the MK7, there is one brand and one brand only of MK7 that is a licensed, patented brand, and that's a company produces something called MENAQ7. That's their registered trademark. Whenever you see any study, any medical study that's been done on the efficacy of vitamin K, not just K2, but vitamin K in general, that talks about how vitamin K helps with this or helps with that, literally 100% of those studies have been done using MENAQ7 because it is considered by far the best version of vitamin K, K2, MK7 on the market. We are, again, the only soft gel to use exclusively Villa Capelli extra virgin olive oil, and there are no extra ingredients. You'll see sometimes in other oil formulations, they're not even using just oil in there because the oil is more expensive. There are cheaper ingredients to fill up that than oil. So they'll put in glycerin, they'll put in some sort of sweeteners, even though you can't taste it. So they're filling it up with junk. All we have that is inside this soft gel is the vitamin D, the vitamin K2, the vitamin K1, and the Villa Capelli, nothing else, no artificial colors. When we were, doing our agreement to get these manufactured, they're saying, well, what color do you want your soft gels to be? I said,
color.
Clear.
Yeah.
No color. You have to understand what we're doing. There are no artificial colors. The amber color that you see is from the olive oil itself. Yeah. And there is a little bit of an amber color as well to the gelatin. Now, for vegans, I want to make sure that everybody understands this is not a vegan product for 2 reasons. The vitamin D3 itself comes from lanolin, which is an animal product. And even though the animals are not dying to produce that, they're just being shorn. It is an animal product. I'm not anti-vegan. I want the vegan, not remotely. I just want the vegans. I don't want to pull the wool over anybody's eyes. I don't want to pull the wool over anybody's eyes.
Put up on.
I told you can't take the catskill out of the chip. And say that this is a vegan product. The other thing is the gelatin capsule. There are other ways to make it, but not as clean and not as effective a way to make the soft gel itself, which is different than the kind of capsule used in a dry capsule like our multi-cap and our magnesium. It is a gelatin-based soft gel, which means it's used from, gelatin is an animal product. So, but that's all that's in there, nothing else. How do we get it? As I go back to the sharing, I'm going to explain to you how you get it. Like everything else, it's available on our website. It is available now. It is available both as a single purchase and as a subscription. A lot of people have been asking, are there going to be...
Answer, Dimitri. United States. All of our products are made in the United States. We don't...
Yes, everything is manufactured.
Goes out to China.
No, everything is manufactured right here. This is manufactured right here in Los Angeles County. Our other products are manufactured in San Diego County. We would not manufacture anywhere else because we don't have the kind of control we do. I go to the factories.
Yeah, we spend time there.
Yeah,
this is
regularly.
Not, we're not mailing. Dimitri, you might be new to what we're doing. We don't mail anything in. That's why it takes us so long to get to market on things. And I just want to bring something up. Andy was talking about, we could have done things cheaper. Just from a standpoint as a business, out of all the products we made, we spent so much money on this product that we barely make a dime on the vitamin D because we wanted to bring it at a price that you guys can afford. So it was almost not advantageous for us to do a D because we put so much into the product that is almost not worth it for us, but we wanted it out there.
Yeah, it's worth it, but our profit margin is not as high on other things.
Yeah.
And as with anybody who's in business knows that the greater volume you're able to sell, the more your margin goes up. But we're doing this the best way we can. A lot of people have asked, will there be combo packs with the D? And the answer is no. And the reason for that is, we're growing as a company. This is our 4th product now. We'll have a 5th product out next month, a 6th product later this year. We would have wound up with combo packs XYZ and then going into AA and double B. And when we got to double D, that's a whole other issue. Whoa, hey! Told you cannot take.
Andy, come on with the joke.
I know.
Jesus Christ.
All right, don't stretch it out. Don't stretch it out. So
I'm going to stretch out.
Here's the thing. We are sticking with our core 3 combo packs. The A, which has the multi-cap and the magnesium, the B, which is the multi-cap and the B12, and the C, which is all 3 of those together. But we wanted to make sure that people had there was an advantage economically for adding additional products. So what we've come up with is a brand new discount program. The 3 combo packs will continue as they are, but there's going to be a new way to save money that will add on top of that we're really excited about because it actually means we're reducing our margin on everything, but we want people to have access, to the best prices possible. So what we've come up with is a volume discount program whereby any 2 items, whether they are single purchase or subscription, every time an order comes through, if there are 2 items on that order, you get 5% off. If there are 3 items on that order, you get 10% off. If there are 4 items or more, it's 15%. It doesn't keep going 20, 25. Then we're starting to, it's costing us to do each one. So how does that affect you if you have a combo pack included in that? We're going to show you right how. Combo packs, for the purposes of this, are considered 1 item. So if you've got, for example, and I'm going to show an infographic, and this infographic is on the website. There's a nice yellow button on the home page and a button on every product page that will bring you this infographic. If you have a combo pack, whether it's A, B, or C, that is 1 item. So, for example, a combo pack A, the multi and the magnesium, you're already saving about 9% over what you would pay to buy those 2 products individually.
Yeah.
So now if you have the combo pack A and you decide you want vitamin D on top of that, you now have 2 items. So you've got the combo pack A where you're saving about 9%. Now you're adding the B. You're getting 5% off that total price, not the B, the D. You're getting 5% off that total price. You're getting an additional 5% off the combo pack price, which is already 9% discount.
So 14% total.
Yeah, 14% on.
Math.
Well, it's 14% on that and 5% on the D. But you're still coming out way ahead. You're not losing the value that you're already getting from the combo pack.
Yeah, that remains.
So if you've got a combo pack and you add something else, and by the way, it's equally applicable if it's 2 of the same item. So if you have 2 combo packs, you're getting the 9% that the combo pack represents, plus an additional 5%. So if you get 2 combo packs, you are really getting 14% off. Actually, it works out mathematically a little less than that.
Me to the poorhouse.
No.
How do we make money?
Okay. Here's the other exciting thing. Anybody who is an existing subscriber, this new volume discount program applies to your existing subscription. So next time it comes through for shipment, it's going to be, you're going to say, wait a second, I'm used to paying, $47.90 for this, and now it's less. Why is that? It's because if you have 2 or more items in your subscription, meaning not just a combo pack, because that's 1 item, but if you have 2 or more items in your current subscription, next time you see it come through, there's going to be a discount that you haven't seen before. And that is permanent. That's not a one-time. That is consistent for the rest of the life of your subscription. We're going to go back to start over the share so you can see the next screen. Where did it go? Now what?
Go back and do it again.
Now I don't see. Is it just me or the sharing thing? Oh, I've got to stop sharing. That's why I've got to stop sharing.
Got ahead of yourself.
I got ahead of myself.
Andy does that sometimes.
That happens. So here we go. We're going to reshare the application window. Here we go. Okay, here we go. Here's the important part. The special offer for sitting through all of this nonsense for the last hour. I hope it wasn't nonsense. The joking was nonsense, but the information was not. Here is the promo code, PVCDKWeb, very original. PVC for Pure Vitamin Club, DK for Vitamin D plus K, Web for webinar, PVCDKWeb. If you decide to do this for the next 24 hours only, because it will expire after that, when you get to the shopping cart page, you will see a box for the discount code. Put this in, this PVC DK Web, you will get 30% off the vitamin D. If there's anything else in there, you don't get 30% off that, but you get the 5% or 10% or 15% for 2, 3, or 4 or more items on top of the 30%. That's also if you are doing this as an add to your current subscription, so you're not getting it shipped to you today. You're just setting this up to add next time you get it shipped. The 30% will apply, and you won't be charged anything today, but when it does go through for your next shipment, you'll get the 30% off.
Andy, Joe's question is pretty interesting. It's a nuance on what we're talking about. What if you want to send a different address, say, to your kids? Can you get more of a discount?
I don't really have a way to do that, honestly, because there's no way to set one subscription with multiple addresses. So you'd have to set a separate subscription for a separate address. I can give that some consideration and talk to our web team to see if there's a way to do that. Right now, there wouldn't be a way to do that because those would be 2 separate subscriptions. I apologize for that, but I don't literally have an answer for that.
Alexander has a good question.
I want to first answer Anna's, how do you alter an existing subscription? To alter an existing subscription, you decide what you want to add. If you're just adding rather than taking anything away, you put whatever it is that you want to add in your shopping cart. And if it's the D and you want to put in the code, do that on the cart page. When you start the checkout process, when you get to step 4 of the checkout process, if you have an existing subscription, it will give you several options. Add to current subscription, replace your current subscription, replace items in your current subscription. There is a link on the home page for how to modify your subscription where this is all explained really well in an infographic. But briefly, replace your current subscription will replace anything that's in your current subscription with what's in your cart and ship it out immediately. Replace items in your current subscription will replace everything in your cart with everything in your subscription with what's in your cart. and ship it out next time you're scheduled to get a shipment. Add to your current subscription. We'll keep everything that you've got in there and just add the new items. If you have any questions, you're not sure how to do this, send us an email at support@purevitaminclub.com. We will answer it starting Monday morning. We don't generally answer those on the weekends, but starting Monday morning, we will answer that. If you want to give us a call, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific time at 1-866-PURE-321. We answer those live. Either I or Dylan will answer those, and we'll help you. We can walk you through it. We can do anything that you want to help. But if you have questions and you're on the site, the new discount program is explained with a link from the homepage and the subscription modification.
Suzanne, yes. We will be posting future updates and promos on Instagram. Yes, we do have a few Instagram accounts. Of course, I have Vinny Todorich Instagram, and a lot of things flow through there. But we also have Instagram for PVC. So you guys today, while you're there, you're getting the 30% discount. You're already here today. Go over and what do you do on Instagram? You just sign up. What do you say? Go check us out on Instagram at PVC. What's our Instagram account called?
Pure Vitamin Club.
Pure Vitamin Club Instagram. Go there.
Yeah.
We just kind of set up. You'll notice there's only a couple of 200-300 people on it, but we want to build that up, and we're going to start offering different things at different times and giving you guys updates there because a lot of people are asking about that. CJ, checking out now.
Yeah. I can answer. CJ, this is what you do. Is if you want to add it to your subscription, do add to your subscription. It'll come next time. And then as a separate transaction, go back in and get the single purchase non-recurring. It's a separate page for the single purchase non-recurring. Put that in your cart. And when you get to checkout, to that step 4, don't add it to your subscription. The last choice is to just enter your credit card information. That will keep it as a separate transaction, and it'll go out on Monday.
Andy, what did I do? I just made everything go away on the side here by accident.
I don't know what you did. I wish you hadn't. View chat. Hit view chat.
All right. Suzanne just put in for us our URL. Follow here. So if you guys see Suzanne in the side window, she put our Instagram URL. So go check that out. Yeah,
there was Alexandra had a question.
Yeah, go up a bit.
That's
what I was trying to do when I lost the whole thing.
Here. Alexandra, if you're there, can you repeat your question? Because it sort of got lost a little bit.
Vinny got a little too, handsy with the computer.
We're going to try to scroll back up.
Are you sure it was him or was it somewhere else?
How do we add to our subscription exactly? Alexander, yeah, I was explaining that. So to add to your subscription and have the same shipping date, again, you put it in your cart, go to checkout, and at that step 4, one of those choices is add to your current subscription. You click that. You could hit continue and complete the checkout. You won't be charged now. The promo code, if you entered it on the cart page, will apply when it goes out, and it'll go out on your next shipping date.
You guys, he said you guys had it.
Yeah.
How many can be ordered at 30% off? Thanks, guys.
As many as you want. Up to, and I didn't know this until the other day, and haven't had a chance to ask the guys about it to rectify it. Apparently, there is a limit on the on our system of 5 units of any one item. So if you want to order more than 5,
people are trying to hurt us.
I know. So if you want to order more than 5 of any one item, you can't until at least Monday, because I've got to get that undone. I wasn't even aware that was the case.
But if you want to do the discount, you can order 5 and then 5 more and then 5 more. And you can keep doing that to get the 30% discount.
Yeah. So if you are like for those who are ordering twice, once the single purchase and once to add to your subscription, you should be able to get the 30% off on both. And if you're adding it to your subscription, again, when you see that invoice come through on the day that it ships, you'll see it's very nice. I'm very happy with the way they did this on the way you get notified. It'll show on the discount line, it'll say discount, and then in parentheses, 30% on vitamin D, comma, 5% for 2 items or 10% for 3 items. So it'll show you exactly what discounts you're getting. And we had a problem with the discounts when we did it on the B12 with having it affect subscription modifications. That's fixed this time around, so that's we've already tested it. That works perfectly. That takes us to our open Q&A.
I think we've been doing open Q&A.
Yeah, pretty much. Does anybody have any questions that we have not answered? Because we're already sort of 10 minutes over.
Order, excited for this product. CJ, we're probably the request. Oh, by the way, while you guys are thinking of questions, I will be at the marina today here in LA, getting in my kayak in about 2 hours from right now. So if you guys are down around the marina, look for a WAP that's in a blue and white Stellar kayak. They changed my kayak, Andy.
They changed your kayak.
I no longer have a red and white kayak. I now have a
I like blue.
and white. Yeah, well, you will love this kayak.
Yeah.
It's
I couldn't get in a kayak
blue
right now. Marine blue.
I don't think they make kayaks in gawky long guy version. Kayak is kind of a short.
Well, especially gawky long guy with a bum knee.
Yeah, I'm about the tallest you want to be in kayak.
Yeah, it's not a sport for 6'5" guys.
No, looking for a WAP conch shell. Yeah, I will have the conch shell at the beach. No,
we will be in Seattle actually next month. And Hutch, I want to answer what you said earlier. It's a little early for Scotch, but we will definitely take you up on the Scotch in Philly when next time we're there.
Yeah, and yeah, we will be. We're not announcing being in Seattle, but I already have one fan and his wife who's coming out to meet us. And I meant to tell you.
Yeah. Okay. All right. All right. Yeah, we will be in Seattle, and we will be. Where will we be in June?
Oh, June.
Yeah.
Oh, Louisiana.
Louisiana.
If my shoulder holds up, Sarah, I do not have any shows planned for Irvine anytime soon. I've been doing a lot of corporate events and that kind of thing. I want to get back out and do the comedy thing. I have to talk to Mike August and set those up. They're specialized to get used.
Eric, not a bad idea. Scotch and the vitamin D. Maybe that's our adult version that comes out later. Yeah. Dino, we are still going to do that. Timing right now, the podcast docket is kind of full, so we have to figure out when and how to do that, but we still want to do that. Adult D sounds like adult diapers, Eric. Yeah. So we're.
And by the way, Brent, I would love to come out and do the race in North Dakota on August 4th, but my summer has already been filled between the kayaking thing that I'm not sure I can do at this point, and I'm doing Mount Whitney and some other stuff. But next year I may consider it.
And Crystal, we do ship to Canada when you register and sign up for any of our products, and you enter your address information. It'll show Canada as one of the options. You just fill that in. Prices are the same. The shipping is a little more expensive, and that's unfortunate. There's nothing we can do about that. That's what it costs us. That's it. Unless there are any more. The PowerPoint will be available. It will be on the website sometime later this week as a PDF that you can download. Probably by, I would say, Tuesday or Wednesday.
And we'll have all that on the PVC Facebook group, the PVC Instagram, and all
we will link to the download page on the website.
We're finally getting up to snuff on that stuff, so you guys check that out. We'll tell you where to go and all that stuff. So, Andy, that should be about it.
That should be about it. I think we need some coffee now.
Yes, we can. Yeah, it's too early for Scotch.
Too early for Scotch.
Too early for coffee.
Never too early for coffee.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, guys. We really enjoyed this. Thanks for all your great questions. And thanks for your support of Pure Vitamin Club. Cheers.
Put life into living. Do it with enthusiasm.
Indeed.